The Gwaltney Group.
The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney. Gwaltney Group. RE/MAX results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. It's Saturday, shaping up to be a fantastic weekend. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you?
I am great, thanks. How about yourself?
Good. I kind of wish that I could play hooky today, but I have a jam-packed day, so I'm not complaining because it's a lot more fun to run around and show houses when it's sunny and warm.
Oh, it sounds like the whole weekend's going to be just great. I look forward to it.
As of now, my tomorrow is more free, but that can change.
So I was perusing social media and I saw a post on Facebook with a very nice balloon decoration celebrating that you had Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results had sold 100 homes in the first 100 days of the year, which, well, it does. It certainly seems to signal that you're relatively busy. Let's put it that way.
Very, very busy. And honestly, the best year that we ever had was 2021. And our goal that year was to sell 365 homes. So we wanted to do a house a day, right? And I think we ended up in the 380s or 390s. I don't remember, but we definitely made our goal and surpassed it by a bit. Well, then the next year business went down a little bit. And then the next year it went down even more. So we haven't accomplished the house a day. I mean, we still sold, I think the following year it was 325 and last year it was 295. So, I mean, it's plenty of houses, but the year was starting off so good that we hadn't initially set that goal until about 70 days in. My daughter reached out to me and said, do you realize that we're 70 days into the year and we've already done 74 deals? And I'm like, okay, that means we can set our goal back to a deal a day, a deal a day, a deal a day. So our goal is to have 365 on the year. So, of course, the first milestone was 100 deals in 100 days. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, I can see why. That's fantastic.
So I guess the moral to that story is please don't buy into the negative stuff that you're hearing online or in the media that things are slow or the market isn't doing well or any of that stuff, because it is a booming market. And can I tell you how many times last weekend our team wrote 3 offers in multiple offers, and I can tell you that one went 24,000 over. Wow. One went 10,000 over, and one went 12,000 over. And I can also tell you that just yesterday, I wrote an offer on a listing that just hit the market. The listing was 350. I wrote it for 380 and got beat out by somebody that had all cash and was willing to escalate over the best offer. So wow. It's busy and it's competitive. And do you remember 2 months ago when I told people buy now, because you're still able to get some money off the asking price. You're still able to do the inspection. You're still able to even ask for some closing costs or things like that. But I forewarned everybody that in a couple of months that was going to make a drastic change, because as soon as the rates dropped a little bit and as soon as that spring market rolled around, I could pretty much guarantee that more and more buyers were coming into the market, and this is exactly where we would find ourselves, and we are back.
And Robin, I just finished an article last night reading, and it was basically what you had said 2 months ago, a story of telling people that same story today, that people in the real estate market are now getting accustomed to the rates where they are and making their decisions based upon that rather than their wish that they'd be much lower. And it was a fairly interesting article. Of course, it was written from a certain perspective, but the other part I took away from it was, wow, as much as we bellyache about affordability in this part of the country, we have very affordable housing compared to some of these other areas.
Absolutely. That is the darn truth. And I actually was listening to a little video. Barbara Corcoran was on Fox this week and was being interviewed about, how is the changes, excuse me, I feel like I have a frog in my throat. Anyway, how are these changes with the NAR settlement? How's it going to affect the market? And the interviewer was saying, is it true that house prices are going to go down? And it's like, oh my gosh. And she looked at her, she said, absolutely not. And she said it so eloquently. She said, first of all, if you're the seller and you're going to not pay for the buyer's commission, be prepared that you're not going to have buyers coming out in drones, okay? And she said, I believe sellers are going to be smart enough to realize that that's the way it's done, and they're going to continue to be willing to do that. All right. I agree with that. She also said, let's say a seller does say, I am only going to pay you your half the commission, and the buyer's going to have to get paid from their agent. All right. So that means they're going to drop it by that 3% or whatever that percent would be and give that benefit to the buyer. That is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. It just means the seller would be putting more money in their pocket. Yeah, I've used that example, right? I've used that example about a for sale by owner versus a house that's listed for a full commission that's willing to pay both sides of the transaction. They're listed for the same price. It's just that for sale by owner is hoping to pocket more money. But fun fact, on average, that for sale by owner is selling for 11% less than the one that listed, and I guarantee you, nobody's paying 11%. So real estate agents aren't going anywhere, and we're definitely not going to start working for free, and no one is going to expect us to. It's just that we are going to have to be able to show our value, and doggone it, we should. We better be worth what we're getting paid. We better be able to show that we are bringing value to the table, and there's a huge benefit in working with us. So she thought, if you listen to some of our shows where you and I have talked about that, and you listen to Barbara Corcoran, I'd swear she copied me. She said it the same way. So I felt really good about that, actually.
Well, as you pointed out, these transactions are taking place in an open marketplace. Exactly. So those costs are built into the price.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. So,
speaking of the price, going back to what you said about the homes going for more than the listings, the multiple offers.
Yeah, right.
Do you now take that into factor when somebody comes up and says, I wish to sell my house, and how you value it? Or do you still have to rely on the comps? I guess, can you incorporate that into your asking price?
Yeah, so once those become closed transactions, they do become comps, okay? Because when they're closed, we see what they asked for it, and then we see what they got for it. So that's how we come up with those numbers like, right now houses in the $300,000 price range are selling on average for 103.7% of their asking price, or whatever those numbers happen to be, right? So then we can better prepare our sellers for what they should expect. So yeah, it's all good data. And I'm just saying, I've been predicting that it was going to get like this, and there's still such a shortage of houses, right? And there is a pent-up demand of buyers, and we just keep seeing more and more. And I think Barbara, in her interview, said something like there's 10 buyers on the sidelines waiting to jump back into the market for every listing that's out there. So,
wow.
Hence crazy traffic and the multiple offers and the paying over and the foregoing of the inspections and all of the stuff that was so familiar a couple years ago. The only thing that's different is the interest rate. But just like you said, exactly what you alluded to, people have just come to grips with that was what it was, and this is what it is.
They're no longer thinking that will return again someday, just as you predicted.
Exactly.
All right. Let's take a quick break, Robin, if that's okay, and we'll come back in just a few seconds with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96. Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on this Saturday morning. Robin, you were describing how the market heated up like you said it would, and you're seeing more and more of offers over the asking price for the homes, and the concessions. Yeah, the concessions that used to be available somewhat are no longer being offered by the sellers. And I guess if you're a buyer out there or a potential buyer and you're looking at jumping into the market now, deciding it's time, what can you tell? What do you tell them to expect?
Okay, so I think that is such a good question, because our most important job, and believe me, there's a lot of important things about what we do, but our most important job, in my opinion, is managing client expectations. Whether I am working with a buyer or a seller, I think communication is key, and the more we can explain to them exactly how this is going to play out and what it's going to look like. So when I meet with a buyer for the first time, I'm just really, very open and honest about, it's going to be tough, guys. This is your price limit, so we should actually look below it, because if we're looking up to your price limit and we get into a multiple offer situation and people are willing to go over it, you're already left out, right? So let's start looking below it. So if we do have to go above the ask, we can still stay within your limits from what you're approved for.
Sure.
So it's just like, okay, I want people to be realistic about what property prices are, because if people say, oh, we really love this house, but do you think they would drop it by $20,000? No, they're probably going to sell it for $20,000 over. So my honest answer is, and I'm not trying to, sound difficult, and I'm certainly not trying to burst anybody's bubble, but there's nothing worse than saying, oh, we can try it, and then let them get the door slammed in their face 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, because they're not writing a strong enough offer to compete. Then we're not doing our job. So we have to set them up for very realistic expectations. And if they want to get in the game, great. And if they say, ugh, this is not the time for me, I'm not prepared to do that, then okay, that's their choice. But do I see that changing anytime in the near future? Well, for sure not for the next couple of years. So it's sort of like, well, do you want to just get in and do this, knowing that we can really navigate you through it and come out just fine? Or do you want to wait a couple of years, continue to pay rent and not build equity, and then get in when prices have gone up? And, it's just, I don't see it changing anytime in the near future. And that's nationwide. I mean, the shortage of homes is nationwide, but with Rochester's added little part of this growth that Mayo's going to have and these 40,000 new jobs that are coming, there is going to be a shortage of homes here for the next 10 years, I promise you. And the builders are trying to, keep up. And obviously you've seen tons and tons of apartments coming up, because that's the one way they can keep up with offering enough housing for people. And that's rentals. So,
and as you pointed out, the waiting game doesn't make any sense unless you had some sort of expectation that you're going to come into a huge increase in your salary or income that would allow you to afford a better home if you waited a year or two. Otherwise,
right. Otherwise, not really necessarily gain anything.
No, in fact, you'd probably lose ground.
I think it's so important to that buyers, especially first-time buyers, understand the complexity of buying and people selling. Now, I have a seller right now that said, Robin, we're going to be really honest with you. We've only bought 2 houses, and they're my age, right? We've only bought 2 houses in our entire lives, and we've only sold 1. This will be our second time. So
sure.
We really don't have a clear understanding of the process and what to expect. So I think it's just like taking the time and walking them through and telling them step by step, starting with preparing the house for the market if I'm working with a seller and, this is what's going to happen. We're going to price it here. I expect we'll sell it here. This is how long I expect it will take. And of course, I'm not just making up these numbers. I'm it's all data driven, right? So I'm showing them what has sold in their neighborhood or in that quadrant of town or in the city of Rochester in general. So we're taking that information to be able to paint a pretty clear picture of what they can expect. And I think it just really takes a lot of the stress away because I think what makes people stressed is the unknown. So if they have no idea what to expect, then it becomes, really, really cloudy.
Is it hard when you have a buyer who has that emotional response to a house and you probably already know that they're not going to get it?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do understand what you're saying. And this is why it is so very important. And this is what I tell buyers. Okay, guys, I'll give you an example from a couple weekends ago. These people had flown in. They were here just for the weekend. There was a house that they liked. It was listed for $289,900. And
wow.
I said, what is your best foot forward? Like, what is the absolute most that you're willing to pay for this house and feel good about it and have no regrets? Because we'll put your best offer forward. We know there's already 6 offers on the table, so we're number 7. We'll put your best foot forward, and if you don't get it, I do not want you to be disappointed because you know that you gave it your best effort. So they gave me their offer, and it was $310,000. All right, and we didn't do an escalation clause. We just came in $310,000, and they did not get it. Somebody paid more. And I said, I'm so sorry. They go, no, we would not have felt comfortable paying any more than that. That's it. So then you kind of can take that emotion out of it because if they had been willing to pay $310, but they thought it was a smart idea to just offer $300 and then they found out that somebody got it for $308 and they could have gotten it for $310, that's when they get emotional. Like,
right.
I wish I would have done that differently. And I'm not going to say that people won't still be disappointed because, they're still going to be disappointed when they liked a house and didn't get it. But that's my job to say, you know what? Everything happens the way it's supposed to, and it only means we're going to find you a house that's better for you. And I believe that. I firmly believe that. Yeah. And I've seen it happen thousands of times over and over. So it can be the biggest disappointment. And then the next thing you know, we find out a house that they're like, oh, I'm so glad we didn't get the last one. I love this one even more. So it works out.
It was meant to be, as they say.
Yes. So
all right.
I
was going to say, yeah, amazing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead.
We'll be back in just a moment with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results. It's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
News Talk 1340 KROC AM 96.9 FM. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. With us, of course, it's Saturday morning, and Robin, you mentioned the complexities of a real estate transaction and all the variables that we talk about in the marketplace every single week. It's so much information. I can't imagine that.
Well,
that a lot of folks are really up on this kind of thing, who are interested in doing this.
Exactly. I mean, I actually found the results of a survey where they interviewed people that are out buying and selling, and it was kind of scary because they asked questions like, how many of you are realistic about property prices? And it was literally 49%. How many understand fully the complexities of buying and selling? It was 37%. How many understand the current market? 34%. And how many even understood their own financial capabilities? And that was also 34%. So we're talking about a third of the people, less than half for every single subject. And so that means we've got people going into this chaos not 100% educated about what they're getting themselves into. And that is the scariest part of all of it. So it is so important that you work with a good professional realtor that can guide you and teach you. And again, I'm not claiming that I'm the only person. There's so many good professional realtors in our market. But that being said, I'd be happy to be the one you chose. I'll tell you that. We've got a great team. I've got the largest team here in Rochester, Southeast Minnesota area. And we are the number one selling team in all of Southeast Minnesota. So we are equipped to take good care of you and to educate you. So if there's any questions or concerns that you have about joining as a buyer or thinking about selling, those questions we're always happy to answer. So certainly feel free to call me about any of that anytime. And I can give you my number now, or I can go through some of our listings and give you that number later. What do you want me to do?
You can give it now, and you can give it later, too.
Okay. So that's perfect. So my cell phone number is 507-259-4926. And honestly, any question you have regarding real estate, never hesitate to call me. I'm always willing to take your call.
And I've also learned from you that there are no stupid questions.
Oh my gosh, no. And when I see statistics like only 34% of the people in the market understand what they're getting into, that is scary. So I feel obligated to help educate people and answer those questions because it's going to be a much better experience, trust me, if you know what you're getting into. So happy to help.
Okay.
But that being said, I'd like to touch on a few of our listings.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we've got a beautiful house over Northwest at 5110 Lehman Lane, Northwest. It is a pretty large house, over 4,000 square feet, finished with 5 bedrooms and a 3-car garage. Has 4 bathrooms. So 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3-car garage. And it is listed for $550,000. So it's a lot of house for the money.
That is a lot of house.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell by the name Lehman Lane that it's over by Northern Golf Course, right? Because there's all the golfers' names over there. So we've got some land out on Rocky Creek Drive Northeast, and it is 20 acres of land. So if you're looking for some land to do something fun with, I don't know what you want to do out there, but we've got that for $1,200,000 for 20 acres.
Is that commercial land out there, Robin?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
Sure is. And then we've got 120 St. Anthony Street, which is a commercial opportunity in Preston Township, I guess. And that is very affordable. It is a vacant building. It's $87,500. Okay. Got a sweet little ranch style house in Wabasha at 1006 Jefferson Avenue, a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and a great big outbuilding in addition to the garage. And that's $269,900. So that's a bargain. You aren't going to find those prices in Rochester. That thing in Rochester would sell in like a New York minute for lots more than that. So
and you won't find that outbuilding for all your toys either.
No, you definitely won't. And you know, in Wabasha, you can have your 4-wheeler and drive it on the streets, drive it to the Super Value grocery store, everywhere you want to go. So, yeah. We've got a very nice townhome up behind the Northeast Clinic at 2301 Coral Court Northeast. It is 0 entry, so very wheelchair accessible, 2 beds, 2 baths, 2-car garage. And that one is 1,652 square feet. There's no lower level or anything. It's slab on grade. $359,900. And we've got Margaret Street in Chatfield, Minnesota. We've got $599 for a 5-bed, 4-bath with 1.7 acres and a 3-car garage. So look at that. We've got one out in Dodge Center. Boy, I'm going all over the place, aren't I?
Yes, you are, yeah.
406 2nd Street Northeast in Dodge Center. And that one is 6.17 acres. And it is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-car garage for $850,000. Now this one does have a 50 by 65 commercial building and an adjoining 1.06 acres that's zoned for either residential or commercial. So some good opportunities there.
And this person has their priorities straight. They have the 4-car garage.
Yeah, I knew you would like that listing. All garage, baby. Anyway, then we have those new townhomes that we're running out. I think we have one left at 5287 Supala Court Northwest. And those are new construction, of course, and they're 3 beds, 3 baths, 2-car garage for $374,900. So we've got some new ones coming, but of course I can't talk about the ones coming until they're on the market. So okay. I don't want to get into any trouble. So we'll have to talk about those next week.
Fantastic. Right? Yeah. So once again, if somebody wants to talk to you about any of the homes that you just mentioned, or just talk about real estate and why it's such a great investment, how do they get a hold of you?
You know, I have to say, I have met so many awesome people who have called me because they listen to this radio show. So I love it. And they say, I feel like I know you because I listen to you talk on Saturdays and I love what you say about real estate. So that makes me so happy. So if you want to talk to me about anything you've heard me talk about in the past, and let's not forget, I have connections all over the country. So if you're leaving Rochester and moving somewhere else, you need me to hook you up with a realtor there. Just whatever I can do to help. Call me, and my cell phone is 507-259-4926.
All right, Robin. I hope you have some time to enjoy the weather this weekend, but I know you also enjoy being busy as well. So,
yes, I do.
I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. It's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.